Rob Seco, Future Farm. Today's innovations, tomorrow's solutions.
Well, welcome back to another season of Future Farm. This is our first segment for this year, and it's the time of year, Todd, where we're thinking a lot about establishment and uniformity. And we're standing in a field here right now that still, has a lot of crop residue on it, and that crop residue really can get in the way of planting. It has its benefits, but also it can detract from uniformity of emergence at planting. So this field has actually been treated with a product called Residue Release, which is a biological to help decompose and degrade that crop residue. Can you tell us a little bit about what the benefits of doing so might be?
Oh, the benefits of starting that decay and that decomposition process of the previous season's residue is terribly important, because as we're only 10 days away from federal crop planting date here in this part of the world. So we're really thinking about it. And here we have 9, 10, 11,000 pounds of residue on a per acre basis. So now you have all this residue. We're going to come out and we're going to plant into it. And remember, when we plant, our intention should be for every plant to look like every other plant. Well, with that means we have to have good seed to soil contact. And remember, we're planting in a trench, in a true V. And if we have a ton of previous season's plant material out there, we might not get good seed to soil contact. If we don't have good seed to soil contact and we have seed to residue contact, that will wick moisture away from some seeds. So some seeds may take up enough water to start to germinate, or a seed that might be hairpinned or have seed to residue contact might not get enough moisture to start that germination. So your uniformity goes downhill the moment you start planting.
Exactly, and by breaking down some of that residue a little bit more, we can actually get the case where we'll split that residue so that we get that seed to soil contact. Now, if we take a look at some of these stocks that we have here in this field, we can see that decomposition is really starting to happen. You see more of that dark saprophytic fungi, where the bacteria has been working. You can see the decomposition happen. Now, tell us, how do you use a product like Residue Release? When do you apply it, and how does it work?
So it's applied foliar to the stock or any plant residue that's left out there. And it's a naturally occurring soil-borne bacteria. What we want to do is we want to intensify the application and concentrate that bacteria on the material itself. So once the stock residue or the plant residue has been treated, then you can do all the tillage you want. Okay? So and what we can see here is you can actually see how the bacteria has started that decay process, especially where you have pathways of the entry of the bacteria into the stock.
Yeah, so that pathway of entry into the stock helps break down the pith inside. It helps, decompose a lot of that cellulose and hemicellulose. And, ultimately, it's something that needs time to work. So applying in the fall is the best time to apply your Residue Release. And then if you don't have a chance to do so, not all of us, can get out and spray all of our acres here in the fall. Does it still work in the spring?
It still works in the spring. You still get the same activity, but remember, it's biological. They're bacteria, so they're alive, and what they need is an active environment, which means they need temperature, moisture, time, and a food source. And as long as they have those, you'll start to get that decomposition and that decay happening. What these bacteria can do is they go in and they break down that complex carbon component, break it down into all these small fractured pieces of sugar that can be reabsorbed and feed the life of the soil that will in turn feed your crop.
Exactly.